Hey. Ooh. Lake trout fishing. That was exciting, I'll tell you what. Whoa! Few anglers get a chance to realize how tough lakers can be on light, short lines. Whoa! I love this. Whoa, whoa! We lost him. Oh well. The fishing was so good off the Niagara Bar, Mike Carney and I decided to stick around because we heard the brown trout opportunities were really, really good. So we got a hold of guide Frank Campbell. We found out he was not only one hell of a guy, but he knows a lot about brown trout on the Great Lakes. He put us in the ring with some real toads. You're gonna love this.
Niagara brown trout.
He's screaming like, oh.
One of the very best options for cold water fishing action transpires up and down the thousands of miles of shorelines running around the Great Lakes. While warm water species like walleyes and smallmouths remain somewhat lethargic, cold water species like lake trout, steelhead, and brown trout often are feeding actively.
Wow! Look at that.
In areas like Lake Ontario's Niagara River, anglers often take all three species on the same outing. Tremendous mixed bag fishing. Today, though, let's follow In-Fisherman editor Matt Straw, publisher Mike Carney, and Niagara area guide Frank Campbell as they cover a few primary options for brown trout.
Here we go, Matt. There's a jumbo. Oh, look at that thing.
Good grief. He almost wrestled me out of the boat.
That is football brown action.
That's not a football, that's a medicine ball. Smelt run up the rivers this time of year. They're here for their spawning run. The big browns, they come in to follow the smelt. It's their favorite food this time of year and early in the year. And here at the river mouth, you have that plume of warm water coming out, and you've got this moving structure, the plume of cloudy water. You usually have a lot of runoff this time of year too. So you've got this wall, we call it a mud line.
Exactly. It's actually, a lot of people think of structure, they're thinking of bottom structure. We're actually fishing vertical structure, which is two different watercolors coming together, and that fish actually came out of the dirty water. As we started drifting into the clear water, he's using the dirty water as his ambush point.
Here you go, girl. Oh, look at that. Away it goes. It's a brown.
Perfect.
Now we're talking. The football browns of the Great Lakes. These fish, I'll tell you, brown trout, when they come in the rivers, live bait and dead bait can be the deadliest way to catch them in the spring because they're so keyed in, and because the bait is concentrated here, it's hard to get an artificial to give off all the cues you need to trigger enough fish to bite. So we're using a very simple rig, very long fluorocarbon leader because the water tends to be very clear, with about a 1 ounce sinker on a 6-inch dropper from a 3-way swivel, and that's all it takes. Just hooking them up through the lips with a small hook. We're using a size 6. Bait holder style hook works fine. This is an octopus style hook. And the color of the hook is red, but that's not always important. And once it gets down to bottom, just holding it just off bottom and then dropping it down to make sure it's there. And it's important to use a reel like this that has a flipping switch. The reel engages again once you let off on the thumb bar. So you can follow the depths down real easy. Just push the thumb bar, bang, you're back down on bottom if the bottom's sloping away. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Storm's coming in. We got to get off the water pretty soon. My personal record brown's about 18 pounds, and this one's not going to beat that. But on the Great Lakes, you can catch them that big and a lot bigger. Lake Ontario here, the lake record is 34 pounds. The Great Lakes record is pushing 38 pounds. So if you've never tried this, this is something you've got to get out and do. Great Lakes brown trout fishing, a prolific fish. They're up and down the shorelines of all the Great Lakes in the spring, and this is a lot of fun.